should be good to go now, Mrs. Gable.
Oh, thank you, dear. You always take such good care of her.
In my town, everyone knew who killed Daniel Price. They just got one thing wrong. It wasn't the woman they arrested, it was the woman they trusted. People believe small towns protect you, that the quiet means safety, that knowing everyone's name somehow keeps darkness away. Hollow Creek, Ohio taught me how wrong that belief is. The morning Daniel Price was found dead, I was alone in my kitchen, staring out the window while rain slid down the glass in thin, nervous lines. Nothing felt different, yet everything did. It was like the town was holding its breath, waiting for the truth to catch up. Daniel wasn't loved, but he was feared. And in Hollow Creek, fear counts for more. He owned buildings, businesses, and people's silence. He was my landlord, and the night before he died, we had argued. Not loudly, not violently, just two people standing on opposite sides of power. He told me I had 30 days to leave. I told him he couldn't do that. He smiled like he already had. When I walked away, I was angry, embarrassed, soaked by the rain, but I was alive, and so was he. By evening, the sheriff was at my door. They asked questions they already knew the answers to. Where was I between 10 and midnight? Did I own a dark jacket? Had I ever threatened Daniel Price? I answered honestly, but honesty doesn't mean much when a story is already written. They showed me the jacket last. Mine, they said. Blood on the sleeve. Daniel's blood. I stared at it, waiting for memory to explain what logic couldn't. But nothing came. I didn't remember touching him. I didn't remember wearing that jacket. All I remembered was walking home alone, trying to calm my shaking hands. Still, the cuffs closed around my wrists. The holding cell smelled like disinfectant and old mistakes. I listened to deputies talk about me like I was already gone, like my life had already ended, and they were just waiting for paperwork to catch up. That's when fear changed into certainty. Someone had killed Daniel Price, and someone had decided it would be easier if that someone was me. When bail finally came through, Hollow Creek looked at me differently. Doors closed quicker. Conversations stopped sooner. I hadn't been convicted, but I had been judged. Only one person stood beside me, Evan Reed, a quiet mechanic who barely spoke unless it mattered. He looked at me once and said he didn't believe I was capable of murder. I wanted to believe that was enough, but deep down, I knew something worse than prison was coming. Because in a town like Hollow Creek, the truth doesn't protect you. It waits to see who breaks first. Being out on bail didn't feel like freedom. It felt like walking through a town that had already decided how my story would end. Hollow Creek watched me carefully after that. Eyes lingered too long. Smiles disappeared too fast. People who once nodded now looked away. I understood then that innocence is fragile, but suspicion is permanent. At night, sleep avoided me. Every sound felt louder, sharper. My mind kept replaying the argument with Daniel Price, searching for the moment where everything went wrong. But the more I remembered, the less sense it made. Daniel hadn't been angry when I left him. He'd been uneasy. That detail wouldn't leave me alone. I started retracing the days leading up to his death, quietly, carefully. I knew better than to ask questions out loud. In small towns, curiosity spreads faster than truth, so I listened instead. Daniel had been making enemies, not dramatic ones, desperate ones. Evictions, threats, people losing homes they'd lived in for decades. He wasn't just moving money around, he was moving lives. That's when one name kept surfacing, Ruth Hawkins. Everyone loved Ruth. She was gentle, soft-spoken, the kind of woman people trusted without thinking. She baked pies for church events. She remembered birthdays. She lived alone in Daniel's oldest houses, a place that had belonged to her family long before Daniel bought it. Daniel had given her notice, 30 days, the same number he'd given me. The night before he died, I remembered something else. When I stood up to leave his office, his eyes had flicked toward the window, toward the street, like he was expecting someone, like he was afraid to be seen. I told Evan what I was thinking. He didn't interrupt, he just listened, the way people do when they already know the answer but are afraid to say it out loud. Then he told me what he hadn't before. He'd been driving past the old lumber mill late that night. He saw someone standing near the trees, small, still, watching. When his headlights passed over her face, he recognized her. Ruth. She was holding something heavy, metal catching the light for just a second. She didn't look angry, Evan said. She looked calm. That scared me more than rage ever could. Then the jacket came back into my thoughts. I remembered hanging it by the door when I got home. I remembered it being clean. I remembered not wearing it again. Someone had taken it. Someone who knew my routine. Someone who could enter my apartment without forcing a lock. Someone who knew exactly how this town worked. I understood then what kind of trap I was in. This wasn't just about killing Daniel Price. It was about choosing the right person to blame. I was alone. I was already disliked. I had argued with him publicly. I was perfect. And the real killer knew Hollow Creek wouldn't look any further once they had me. That night, as I lay awake listening to the town settle into silence, one truth settled in with it. The most dangerous people aren't the ones who threaten you. They're the ones everyone trusts to never hurt anyone at all. I didn't confront Ruth right away. In Hollow Creek, confrontation doesn't bring truth, it brings denial. I needed certainty, not emotion, so I waited. I watched her the way she watched everyone else, quietly, kindly. She moved through town like someone and belonged everywhere. People smiled when they saw her. Doors opened. Trust came easily. That's the kind of cover no criminal ever has to build. When she invited me over for tea, I knew she thought the danger had passed. Her house smelled of cinnamon and old wood. Family photos lined the walls, a life carefully preserved. As she poured the tea, her hands shook slightly, but her eyes didn't. There was no fear there, only relief. She talked without realizing she was confessing. About Daniel, about what he took from people. About her son who'd lost everything after Daniel forced him out. About how some men deserve consequences. I let her speak. She said she followed Daniel to the mill that night. She said she only meant to scare him. She said the hammer felt heavier than she expected. When she realized he was dead, she panicked, not about the murder, but about being seen. That's when she made her smartest move. She took my jacket. She knew I'd argued with him. She knew the town already whispered about me. She knew exactly how much weight my name could carry if it were dragged through the mud. I recorded everything. When the sheriff heard it, he didn't speak for a start. He just sat there, staring at the table like the truth offended him. Arresting Ruth Hawkins meant admitting they'd been wrong. It meant the town had been wrong. They arrested her during Sunday service. Handcuffs echoed louder than prayers. No one spoke. No one defended her. She didn't resist. She looked peaceful, like confession had been waiting inside her for years. The charges against me were dropped quietly. No apology, no announcement, just silence again. Hollow Creek moved on the way small towns always do, by pretending nothing happened. But I didn't, because I learned something that stays with you long after the cell doors open. Justice doesn't come from truth alone. It comes from timing, from perception, from who people are willing to believe. In Hollow Creek, innocence didn't save me. Doubt did.
and I will never forget how easily a town can turn on you, not because you're guilty, but because you're convenient. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.